YouTube, are your legs tired? Because you've been running through my mind all night long. No, but in all seriousness, I really was thinking about you guys all night last night, thinking about a great recipe that I could put together for you. And I thought, I know what I'm gonna make. Everybody loves meatballs and pasta, and I'm gonna show you how to make a healthy meatball and pasta. Unless you don't want to see it. Never mind, forget it. It's a bad idea. You don't want to see a healthy meatball and pasta recipe. Oh, you do? Oh, okay, good. Then that's what we'll do then. So grab your candles, light them so that you have a romantic setting so that you can have a dinner for two or maybe a family dinner with this meatball and pasta recipe. So without further ado, let's get started with the recipe. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that you should not be eating regular pasta and meatballs. Regular pasta is a very, very heavy, refined, junky kind of food that will stick right where you don't want it to stick. It'll stick right on your abs, right on your arms, and it's very, very heavy. So you don't need regular pasta. My pasta and meatballs recipe is super low fat, super lean, and very low carb, very high fiber, and very nutritious. This is going to help you get 2 servings of vegetables in your day, and it's going to taste like regular pasta. So I'm gonna be showing you some super secret lean tricks. We don't call this channel Lean Secrets for nothing. And so let's go ahead and get started. There's 3 parts to my 6-pack spaghetti, and we're gonna do the sauce, the meatballs, and the noodles. So let's go ahead and get started with the pasta sauce first, because you want to let that simmer to let the flavors of the garlic and everything marinate. So grab a medium saucepan, ding, and actually I'm going to take you right here so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, for the sauce you're going to need tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, oregano, crushed red pepper, sea salt, fresh garlic cloves, and about 2 tablespoons of chopped red onions. Okay, so you want to start your sauce first, like I said, because you want all these flavors to simmer while you're making everything else. So if you want to be a rock star and do your own tomato sauce, that's totally cool, and I admire you for that. I don't have the patience to do that, and so I'm just going to use one can of sauce. I'm only one person, which is why I'm only using 1 can of sauce. If you have a family, you might want to use 3 cans of tomato sauce. So I'm adding some diced tomatoes. Now I don't like a lot of diced tomatoes in my sauce, so I'm just going to add a few here. This is why I wore a red shirt, so that when it splashes up on me, you won't even be able to tell that I'm a big mess. And another thing I want to mention, the heat on your sauce should be a medium low, like a low medium heat, because you don't want to burn the bottom of the sauce. Then your whole thing is ruined. Then your sauce is going to taste like burnt sauce. Now I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but you take your garlic and you're always supposed to smash it and give it a good smash with the flat side of the knife and really get all the aggression out. I'm going to mince it very finely. You don't want any big old chunks of garlic in your sauce, so make sure that they're very, very finely chopped. Okay, garlic goes in. Okay, onions go in. Give that a stir. Every time you add something in, you really should just give it a little stir just to make sure that it gets in there. Okay, the crushed red pepper. This is optional actually. If you don't like your sauce very spicy, you don't need to add this. I like spicy stuff, so I'm going to be adding a lot. That's probably about a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And also with the salt, don't be afraid to be a little bit generous with your salt. The worst thing in the world, I think, is having a sauce that doesn't have enough salt in it. Then it just tastes kind of bland. I like my sauce to have a lot of spices. It already smells really good. Okay, the oregano, you need a lot of this. Also, obviously, if you don't want to make your own sauce, you can get canned sauce. That's totally fine. But there's just something so good about making your own sauce. And I don't mean to nag you, but really, you should make your own sauce. Please make your own sauce. And if you want to make sure that your sauce is going to taste the way that you want it to taste, you just give your sauce a taste. I think it tastes really good, but I went into my cabinet and I wanted to see if there was something else I can add to it. So I just kind of go by smell. I smell the rosemary. Smells like it would definitely complement the sauce. Okay, so now we let the sauce simmer at a low heat for right now. And if you want to add mushrooms to your sauce, green peppers, you can do all that. I'm keeping my sauce pretty simple. It's just basically the spices, herbs, and a few of those canned tomatoes. So now let's move on to the meatball portion of the recipe. Okay, so now we're making the meatballs. Typically the meatballs are made with red beef, ground beef, and that's fine. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. Just make sure that it's 95% lean at least. And today I'm actually going to be using ground chicken. You can use ground turkey, and actually ground turkey is just as good, if not better, with the texture, but I had ground chicken. You're gonna need ground chicken, more garlic, and I've got 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is what I'm using to replace breadcrumbs. A lot of people use breadcrumbs in their meatballs, but you're gonna use nutritional yeast, and that's going to give it kind of a nice fluffy texture, a soft texture to the meatball. You don't have to use nutritional yeast if you don't have it, not a big deal, but if you do have it, it's very healthy, low carb, high in vitamin B12 and fiber, and it has a little bit of protein also. Oregano, the salt, and the crushed red pepper. Oh, and you're also gonna use a little bit of nutmeg. I know it sounds weird, but the nutmeg is gonna give it a nice warm spicy flavor. So meat goes into the bowl. And if you want to do this for your family, that would be a great idea. I bet you $1 million your kids won't be able to tell the difference between these meatballs and spaghetti and regular meatballs and spaghetti. And if your husband's not big on the whole diet thing, or if your wife isn't big on the whole diet thing, you can make meatball subs for them. You can get a separate like hoagie roll and make meatball subs for your family. I know a lot of people are asking me, you know, my husband doesn't like this kind of food, what can I do for that? Well, you just kind of compromise. And it would be nice, ideally, if you get your husband on board and force him to eat the food that you eat, you know? Okay, so now here's what you want to do for making your meatballs. You grab it and then twist the bowl. That way you get everything mixed in. It's kind of a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, right? Okay, and you always keep one hand dry and the other hand is kind of, you know, the working hand. So add in your nutmeg. You don't need a lot of nutmeg, just kind of a sprinkle in there. The oregano. And again, you can't really overdo it on the oregano, especially when you're cooking something like spaghetti and meatballs, right? Obviously, you don't have to add the crushed red pepper. I like my food spicy, so I'm adding the crushed red pepper. And also, it should be noted that spicy food has capsaicins. Capsaicins are thermogenic, which is also known as a fat-burning agent. So adding a little bit of spicy stuff to your food can actually increase your resting metabolic rate and your internal temperature. Okay, and we're gonna add 1 egg. That's just gonna bind everything together. It's gonna keep everything from falling apart. Okay, so I had a pretty large pan heating up there, and now I'm just gonna add some medium-sized meatballs. You don't want them too big because then they will take a long time to cook. So, I mean, you can make them really big if you want to, but they just cook a lot faster when they're about the size of a little bit bigger than golf balls. Obviously, we all know how to roll a meatball. You just roll it in your hands really quick and put it in there. Oh man, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good. It smells like my mom's house when she cooks meatballs. And by the way, my mom cooks the best meatballs. I don't care if you think your grandma or your mom cooks the best meatballs. My mom cooks the best meatballs in the world. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys in on another little secret here. So, when you cook your meatballs, you don't want to cook them all the way through on the pan. You probably already know this. I feel like you already know this, but to cook them until they're brown on each side on the pan, but don't cook them all the way through. You're gonna finish them off in the sauce. That's gonna keep the meatballs from getting dry. Because this is a low-fat meat, you don't want it to get dry or else then it'll be kind of chewy. So we're gonna brown 2 sides of the meatballs and then we're gonna put them into the sauce and let them simmer, and then they'll cook through for about 30 minutes. Obviously make sure you wash your hands after you handle raw meat. Okay, now it's noodle time, guys. So this is where the magic happens. I've got something called the spiruli here. If you don't have a spiruli, you should get one. They're only about 30 bucks on Amazon. And if you want more information on spirulis, I'll put something on my blog about it. Check the links below. But really, get a spiruli. But if you don't have one, all you need to do is take a knife and shred your zucchini or your yellow squash onto a plate. But this is going to make us some pasta, some real genuine pasta. So make sure if you use a spiruli, you get a nice, thick, wide zucchini or squash, nice and straight, because sometimes they're bent, so make sure yours is straight. and make sure it's firm. So it's not too soft. If it's too soft, it'll just get mushy. So let's go ahead and start our pasta. And you just twirl it. And you're gonna start seeing noodles come out of the other end. If your kids are afraid of green stuff, you would just use the yellow squash. And you could also just peel your zucchini skin. All right, so there's our noodles. See that? That is just like regular pasta. And believe me when I say it honestly does have the same texture as pasta, the same flavor, because pasta doesn't really have a flavor, right? I mean, we all know that pasta doesn't really necessarily have a flavor. So this is so perfect, so perfect. This has nothing but good fibrous carbohydrates, and it's very, 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 very good for you. Okay, YouTube, so we're gonna plate this up, and through the magic of internet video, we have our meatballs done and our sauce done in the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up really quick. Look at this, oh my goodness. Look, look, it's spaghetti and meatballs, and you can eat it, and it's healthy, and it's good. And I'm gonna try some. And also, the noodles twirl on your fork just like real noodles. Like honestly, see that? I'm gonna show you a close-up because I don't think that you understand the enormity of this situation. Meatballs and spaghetti, people. Oh my God. That's good stuff right there. All right guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It's an honor that you spent this time with me, and I really appreciate you listening to me talk about meatballs and spaghetti for the last couple minutes. Also, if you like this video, you can click the like button below. If you need any information on anything that I did in this video, you can go to my blog, leansecrets.com. I put the links in the description box below. And also, if you want to learn more about how to get and stay lean, firm, and toned, you can check out my ebook. It's instant downloadable ebook that I spent over a year researching and writing. And actually, I spent 9 years kind of honing my skills to write this book. So I learned a lot about health, fitness, and nutrition, and I learned that a lot of women just like you have no idea about these secrets. So I put every bit of health and fitness knowledge that I've acquired into the Lean Secrets guidebook. You can get that book at leansecrets.com, and you'll get 50% off if you put the promo code PASTA, and you'll also get a free cookbook. All right guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, just remember, you are so much stronger than you could ever imagine. Bye guys. Oh, never mind, forget it. It's a bad idea. You don't want to see a healthy meatball and pasta recipe. Oh, you do? Oh, okay, good. Then that's what we'll do then.